Welcome back. Many thanks for staying with us. Even before authorities have a full understanding of what happened to the fishes that were washed ashore on some beaches in Accra, it is emerging that some residents living along the beaches have consumed the fish. More than 60 dolphins and large numbers of different species of fish washed ashore along the coast in Axim, in the Nzema East municipality of the Western region, Osu here in the Greater Accra region, and Keta in the Volta region over the weekend have become a subject of debate. Some residents living along the coastline who spoke to JoyNews indicated that while some of these fishes ended up in homes, others are in the market. We'll be hearing from them shortly, but let's get on Zoom right now. Michael Arthur Dazi is director of the Fisheries Commission that was investigating what could have occurred for the fishes to be washed ashore. Mr. Dazi, thank you for your time. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So last time I spoke to you on Monday, you said that the samples had been taken, seawater and the fishes, some have been taken, and that you are conducting your preliminary investigations. Tell us what you have found.
Thank you very much. I think we need to express the gratitude of the Honorable Minister, the Ministry, and the Commission to the media for the good work you are doing, collaborating with us to bring information to the public. I want to quickly stress on something, that the Keta situation is entirely different. I've kept on bringing information to the fact that we never had dead fish washed ashore at Keta as being reported, being speculated. Artisanal fishers landed tuna, and coincidentally, it was at the time that we had the Osu incident. So people felt that they had landed dead tuna, which was not the case. It was fresh tuna that they had landed.
Okay, so Mr. Dazi, that point has been well articulated. If you would please give us information on what your preliminary investigations have found.
Good. The tests are still ongoing. What the head of the fish health unit, the fish health veterinarian indicator was that they said they had actually observed that the dolphins were traumatized. So they are going further. They were stressed, they were traumatized. So they are going further to carry out the various investigations that they had lined up to investigate, including taking the offals and also taking the gills and taking the flesh to carry out examination. It's not only the Fisheries Commission that is conducting that. Food and Drugs Authority is also doing that. The University of Cape Coast, University of Ghana are also conducting investigations by taking samples of the fish and samples of the seawater and the seaweed. So for now, we are very, very hopeful that the fish veterinarians will be able to get us some preliminary report. We wouldn't want to rush them. And at the same time, what we want to do is to coordinate the findings of all these institutions involved in conducting the investigations, and then we release one information to the general public.
Okay. What you say is that the preliminary investigations reveal that the dolphins we saw were traumatized, and that further investigations are required in this case, but you are waiting to gather information from tests or similar tests being organized by the FDA, UCC, University of Ghana, so that you can put together one comprehensive report.
Exactly so.
Monday, when I spoke to you, you indicated that the results will be ready. The result from this preliminary investigation will be ready on Tuesday. It's taking more than...
I said that, well, let's hope that by Tuesday we'll have some preliminary information.
Okay.
Preliminary information from our fish health doctors. And as I have variously indicated, we want them to do a very thorough work for us, because whatever findings that they bring will inform us as to the next line of action to take.
Okay.
We don't want that they will bring inconclusive report, and then when there's a recurrence, then we'll be found wanting.
Mr. Does it the dolphins? We've seen at least reports from Axim, for example, that people are already had chopped up some of the dolphins that were dead, and are already preparing them for market. Some have already started preparing food with it, etc. Did they give you any information when they say that the dolphins were traumatized? Did they give you any information, additional information, that eating these could be harmful to the health of people?
Our fish veterinarians are variously touted, and we will continue to tell the members of the general public that any fish that is dead, the cause of death of which is not known, is not to be consumed. Even our fishermen, when they go to sea on their fishing expedition, they don't harvest dead fish. And when they see that fish floating on the surface of the sea, they don't harvest them. They always trap or harvest live fish. And when they harvest them and haul them into the canoe, and they die, at least the cause of death is as a result of having been harvested and hauled into the canoe. That one, the cause of death is known. We are variously educated, and we are still educating members of the public together with FDA that also present members of the public, various inhabitants of the communities, especially Axim and its enclaves, should desist from eating the dolphins that were found at their coast. We must also put on record that dolphins are endangered species. By endangered species, we are saying that they are not allowed to be consumed. Dolphins, whales, and in that group of sea mammals, they are not allowed to be consumed. And we are variously educated members of the public. We have educated the fishermen that when these endangered species, by reason of either the environment having become destabilized, when they are found traumatized or stressed, and they come to the shore, they are to be picked and released beyond the waves, so that at least they can still go back into their natural habitat.
Okay.
But we are still educating. Of course, we are living in a community where at least we'll get about 2 or 3 people who may exhibit deviant behaviors. But we are persistently carrying out public education on that. We have also said, the Honorable Minister said it yesterday when we met the community at Osu. She appealed passionately to members of the public to ensure that, especially those fisher folks, that if they have consumed some of the fish, they should own them. For us to have medical experts monitor them, because we don't know the cause of death of the dolphins and what induced the dolphins to come to the shore. I must also place on record that the dolphins that were found at Axim, they were not dead. They were just rather when the people who just on them picked them out of the sea onto the mainland, and that they died because they were seen alive at the shore. In fact, about 2-3 meters of the sand into the sea. So that's what happened. We have also, the Honorable Minister also appealed to the public to also look out for unwholesome fish on the market.
Okay. Mr. Atadazi, hold on for me and let me bring in another person into this discussion. As you can see there, we have visuals that are showing you some of the dolphins that yes, were killed or that died. But we know that some of them were chopped up into little pieces and were being prepared for sale, especially in Axim. But let me bring in Dr. Nanaba Redu. He's a member, a board member of the Board of Advisors for Earthright, an NGO that works in tourism an environmental and an environmentalist he is. Nana, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. What do you make of all that's happening?
Well, for me, I'm speaking purely from the angle of the environmentalist. I do not have any technical degrees in oceanography or this. What I am seeing here, as far as I'm concerned, is that, as you know, fish migrate. These fish were migrating from the south, where they had been for the summer. Now there is spring and summer in the north, and they were migrating into the warm waters. Now, if they are dead and washed ashore, there is one thing in nature. Any fish that dies from natural causes in the ocean is never washed ashore. It is only when there is other reason for their death that they are washed ashore. And so here, if you look at how many of them have been washed ashore, the thing is that they were migrating to the north. Now, if they are dead, and them are saying when they open the fish up, whatever they found there, sticky or starchy or whatever they were, was an indication that they had taken in something which was adverse to their own consumption patterns. The food they had taken in was not the kind of right food they would take in. Now, if you know the nature of how they feed, normally they will move, in this case here, they move within just about in the size of about 5 football fields, moving, a stretch together. So they open their mouths, and whatever there is there catches into their mouths. If you look at the geographical location of where this thing happened, it happened within the areas of the oil wells. And so the next thing you want to think about is that, was there any oil going into their system that was not in agreement with their own biological composition, and therefore they died? That is very possible. Now, if that is so, then my rationalization here is that there is the possibility of oil from oil tankers into the ocean system at the same time as they were migrating north. And this happens when an ocean tanker is traveling to the oil wells to take in oil.
Okay.
It cannot be on the high seas empty, because no ship travels on the high seas empty. You have to take in a certain amount of load to balance the ship as it stays on the ocean. Now, what happened here is that when the ships reach within the area where they are going to take their oil stock, they flush out their hold. That means that they clean the oil base to put in another oil. When you go to the thermal oil refinery, they'll tell you there is always a residual oil for them to cleanse or for them to discard. Here, when they flush out this oil, they flush it into the sea, which is not right. International Maritime Organization frowns on them and always imposes a fine for the cleanup of that ocean.
Okay, Doc, hang on for me and let me.
That is done.
Hang on for me, Doc. Let me bring in the Fisheries Commission at this point and see if we can get a little bit of clarity on what he has said earlier. Ms. Atadazi, you indicated that the preliminary investigations show that the dolphins were traumatized. We've seen a lot of reasons that could have happened in this one based on the explanations that Nana is giving. What details did they give? How does a dolphin get traumatized?
Thank you very much. It could be as a result of several factors. when these dolphins migrate using the ecosystem.
Hang on, Mr. Atta, let me come in there again. So I'm asking for the specifics of what the preliminary.
Specifics, you see,
if you let me land, you'll understand where I'm coming from.
Investigations into the intestines, whatever is inside the body, the offers. It will be very difficult to talk about traces of petrochemicals, if any.
So I don't want to, Mr. Tadazi, I don't want to get confused. That's where you're taking me now. So let me bring you back to my question. My question is, the results that we got from your preliminary investigations, what the details I was giving you, you indicated to us that they said they observed that the dolphins were traumatized. What does it mean for dolphins to be traumatized? Did they give you that?
Let me explain.
Please.
Well, what the fish health veterinarians indicated was that from their initial observations of the fish, they were not ruling out the fact that the fishes have been traumatized. One, because they were washed to the shore alive. They were not dead. They had become destabilized, disoriented, because that was not their habitat. Now, once they are able to establish that initial observation, it could have also been that they could have said that they saw some bruises. Here, they didn't make mention of bruises. If you say there were bruises, then it goes to something else. To them, that's what we have observed. Now, let us take the fish and subject it to pathological examination, where they will examine the gills, they will examine the intestines, and they will examine the flesh, carry out a lot of investigations. It is out of these investigations that then they can conclusively indicate that when we cut the flesh, and we subject the flesh to ABC, these were the findings. When we took the liver and then we subjected it to examination, these were the findings.
Okay.
So that's where they are moving towards. And then they will give us the report.
The pathological examination was what you told me on Monday was going to happen. So it hasn't happened yet. How soon? Mr. Tadazi, if you let me land with my question. Thank you. So it was on Monday, you said that this examination will be conducted. What I'm trying to find out is, now that it is not ready, how much longer do we have to wait for the results?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yesterday, we went to our laboratory with the minister, and they saw with the media, they saw the doctors busily working. Just this afternoon, I spoke with the head of the fish health unit. The leader of the veterinarian, fisher veterinarians, Dr. Zida, and he indicated that the minister has prayed them to at least put in more effort to bring a report to the public. So I'm very optimistic that they will speed up, they will up their game without compromising quality, without compromising effective interrogation of the issue. And then the report that they will bring will be a very good report that will help the way forward.
So how soon you can tell?
But I'm so very, very optimistic that between now and when we are able to go over this week, by Monday at least, they'll be able to give us. But I said, we are coordinating with Food and Drugs Authority and the two universities to issue a unified report for the general public.
So we don't have any timelines.
We will not release. University of Ghana will not release. University of Cape Coast. We are putting together.
So we don't have any timelines. We don't have any timelines within which we're working.
My sister, I've always indicated we'll release within a reasonable time.
What is reasonable time, Mr. Atadazi, if you can help us with that information? What constitutes reasonable time?
It's a question of fact, depending upon circumstances. Depending upon circumstances. Because I wish I would get your team to the lab if you will be available tomorrow, so that we take you to the lab to see what is going on. And then at least you can also have some information for the consumption of the general public.
Great. Let me wrap up this conversation just to also find out. You mentioned bruises. The dolphins that I'm seeing in my visual right now seem to have something that looks like cuts on their skins. Are those not bruises?
As I indicated, human beings lifted them out of the sea. And when you go to the beach, the way they handle fish, throwing them here and there, they are very heavy. What you see there, they are very heavy. One could be the size of a 10-year-old or 11-year-old child. They are very heavy. So when they lift them, they just jettison them. Look, you see how they are loading them in the car. Look at the way they are handling them, rubbing their bodies against each other, rubbing their bodies against even the vehicle. And even sometimes at the shore, they drag them on the sand. These were not things that were found on them when they were alive.
Okay.
These were occasioned by the way they handled them.
Okay, let me wrap up this conversation. Nana, if you can hear me, I believe you do.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, Mr. Atadazi, I think
yes, please.
You were making a point that I interrupted. If you can wrap that for me up in a very few seconds about your response to what Nana Redu was saying, that it is possible that this could have been caused by an oil tanker.
Yeah, Nana is talking from the environmental perspective.
Yeah.
We also collected seawater samples to also subject them to examination, which include, we even look at for environmental factors within the environmental parameters within the seawater that we have collected. And if there was any oil spillage, at least there will be traces of oil in whatever samples that we have collected. So we are not, for now, we are not ruling out any plausible variable. That's the test that we are doing. We are doing a very holistic examination to ensure that whatever results that come out will take care of everything. In the event that findings does not give any traces of oil, any traces of lubricant, whatever it is, the result will indicate. In the unlikely event that there are traces, the result will indicate. That's why I said we didn't only take fish samples. We also took water samples, seawater samples. We also took some of the seaweed that was found at the beach at Axim. That we are also subjecting to examination.
Okay. Nana Radio, let me take your final comments on the back of that.
Well, what I am concerned about is that those along the coastline, 540 kilometers coastline, depend on fish for their feeding, daily food intake and whatnot. Ghanaians consume a lot of fish. I think it must be clear that if this has happened, other fish which we are eating within this time should be taken with a lot of caution.
Okay.
With a lot of caution, because you don't know what else has happened to other fish that are just in our ocean here. We are fish eaters, and we should be warned to be staying away from that till that result has come in.
Right. Nana, thank you very much for your time. Nana Redu, Dr. Nana Redu, there speaking to us on this matter. I also had Michael Atadazi, who is a CEO for the Fisheries Commission. Nana, by the way, it works with an NGO. He's a member of the Board of Advisors for Earthright, an NGO that works in tourism and environment. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time this evening.
You are welcome.
Well, let's now listen to some residents along the Osu Castle. They say that meals have already been prepared with the fishes that were washed ashore, despite the warning that the FDA has given and what we're just hearing from both the Environmentalist and the Fisheries Commission. Take a look.
Okaile operates a drinking spot right at the seashore and explained how the fishes were carried into homes.
Around 12 going, 12 to 1 going, even me home ebi mu kra no mo kita rob em girls some year 2 and I'm a panel so I change so baby I'm meeting no and
in my neighborhood, people took some into polythene bags and sent them away, including a woman who lives nearby. She says her grandchildren brought it from the sea. There are those who think it's just normal.
Bye. We are not going to say, Moody, so be a senior. So, Monsieur, Sadiano is a beer cedar. And some of the Mafan said, Dear Sinu, Naside, I saw a baby woman. And a pana, me fee fearing Bahano. Even Musu can say, Oh
yes, that morning I was told the bigger fishes have been sold, and because of their size, they sold out quickly.
Others who live in shacks and around the beach, who spoke to me off camera, said they had consumed the fishes. To others, it was a miracle.
I
was sitting here when I saw them carrying the fish. I was surprised because I had not seen some happen before, so I didn't eat it when they brought it. But some took it home and sold it.
Since you were born, have you seen such miracle at the seashore before?
How old are you? From and I'm much cheap coin. Even for before some guide your more beans compound.
The fish is good. Nothing has happened to anyone. People came from town to take some. We don't have
it's from now any problem. Any case.
This woman says she still has some of the fish in her soup on fire.
Friday, so where be ni wabi ete inshora poni minga acha menga je insho minga ba sibeda me ba wabi le ko be hin lo agboko ko no kankan ba ni elefen fe ni mi wan ka ba lo agboko ngba mo le ka mo le insho mi lo mi fa service me na ka me ba ko insho na am first am in question am first am na ko na am ha ko am na me ba hole akro.
On Friday, we were here whilst our children were at the seashore. They came back with a big fish, which was wagging its tail. So I said the fish is not dead. The children said they got it from the sea. It was first seen by the security men around. They took some, cooked it, and ate it over here. So when the child brought it, we realized it was a good fish. So we removed its scales and chopped it. The fish was healthy. That Sunday, we used it for palm nut soup. So frankly speaking, my family and I ate some of the fish and nothing has happened to us. We had some small ones and we fried it, and these are the bigger ones. I was sitting here when I saw them carrying the fish. I was surprised because I had not seen some happen before, so I didn't eat it when they brought it. But some took it home and sold it.
The Fisheries Ministry has advised those who have consumed these fishes to come forward, even as authorities try to unravel the circumstances leading to the death of these fishes.
Well, Kwasante filed that report.